Welcome to Technology and the Common Core, Session 1. If you didn't hear my voice on the first slide saying Technology and the Common Core, or my voice now, make sure your speakers are turned up and that your sound on the computer is not muted. If you stop the presentation in the middle and you no longer are hearing sound when you start it again, simply start the presentation over. Use the arrows at the bottom left corner to skip over the slides you've already viewed, and once you get to the slide you left off on, begin listening again. A few things to remember. Use the arrow buttons that appear in the bottom left of the slide to navigate front and back. You also could use the small menu if you want to end the show or go directly to the beginning. You can always go back to a previous slide if you need to review or review the entire presentation again. Words that appear in blue and are underlined are links to websites and other video tutorials. When viewing the tutorials, use the full screen for better viewing. An icon usually appears in the lower right side of the viewing window and has little arrows in the corner, and those are the ones you click on to get it to full screen. The Common Core standards have been officially adopted by 50 states in the United States. The standards build on the most advanced and current thinking about preparing all students for success in college and their careers. We have to think outside the box now. The world is changing, and students we're teaching today will have jobs that don't even exist right now, depending on the age of the kids that you're teaching. The standards are meant to provide more clarity and rigor, and it gives a common basis, so hopefully all the kids across the United States will strive to receive the same quality education. Standards are research-based and apply higher-order thinking skills, so we're trying to move away from just the drill and kill and help students become problem solvers and critical thinkers, which you know is necessary to join the workforce today. The benefits of Common Core are many. Professional development practices will be based on best practices. We will also be able to pool best practices from many states across the country to pick the best of the best. Common assessments and tools will be developed for all the states. This will create a fair comparison of policies and achievements in states and districts, because right now, with everyone having different standards, you could be held to one standard in California, and that standard wouldn't even matter in New Jersey. It also helps create collaboration across the states and districts for curriculum and professional development purposes, which would be quite helpful, so states aren't islands unto themselves, and it will provide more standardized resources and more brain power to create those resources. The key points in English language arts for the Common Core standards. In reading, they're trying to stress complexity in reading and develop reading comprehension skills. Students should be exposed to a diverse array of classic and contemporary literature. Ensuring that students are exposed to classic myths and stories from around the world, foundational U.S. documents, seminal works of Shakespeare, standards appropriately defer the remaining decisions about what and how to teach to states, districts, and schools, which is great. The Common Core doesn't get so granular that's going to tell you on this day you're teaching this. So it does leave room for creativity and self-expression and some autonomy. The key points in writing are the ability to write logical arguments based on substantive claims, sound reasoning, relevant evidence, and it's a cornerstone of writing standards, with opinion writing and basic form of an argument extending down to the earliest grades. So kids are just not regurgitating information, they're thinking about the information and forming opinions on it. Research, both short, focused projects such as those commonly required in the workplace, and longer-term and in-depth research is emphasized throughout the standards. but most prominently in the writing strand, since written analysis and presentations of findings is often critical. So we want to prepare our students to be able to all different kinds of writing, short, research-based, which also will mean students will need to understand how to analyze the information that they're researching. Annotated samples of student writing accompany the standards and help establish adequate performance levels in writing arguments, informational, explanatory text, and narratives in the various grades. So they are providing examples so you can see what are we looking for, what is the standard of quality we want to get out of students in writing. And the key points in mathematics K through 5 is emphasis on whole numbers, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, and decimals. So we're not throwing out the bathwater with baby. The K through 5 standards provided detailed guidance for teachers on topics such as fractions, negative numbers, and geometry, and do so by maintaining a continuous progression from grade to grade. So we're still structuring so that everything builds on it. So there is a schema. So skills will be built up from grade to grade. And the standards also stress procedural skill and conceptual understanding to make sure students are learning and absorbing critical information they need to succeed at higher levels. So it's not just about regurgitation and memorization of facts. We want them to be able to understand, okay, what does it mean that 3 times 5 is 15? What is that? Yes, we know it's a fact, but what is that? 3 groups of 5. So they understand the concept. In math, in high school and middle school, we're hoping that the foundation in K through 5 prepares students for hands-on learning in geometry, algebra, probability, and statistics. Students who have completed 7th grade and mastered the content and skills through the 7th grade will be well prepared for algebra in 8th grade. Students are supposed to practice applying mathematical ways of thinking to real-world issues and challenges. So taking what they learned and trying to figure out how to build a bridge or run a store and what would they need numerically if they're ordering things, or stock markets. The high school standards emphasize mathematical modeling, the use of math and statistics to analyze empirical situations and understanding them better and improve decisions. When making mathematical models, technology is valuable for varying assumptions, exploring consequences, and comparing in predictions with data. So spreadsheets and simulations will be a big part. So how does technology fit into all of this? Well, students will be using technology and digital media strategically and capably. It is not an extra add-on. It is an ingredient in the cake of education. Students should be proficient in technology. They'll be better prepared for college and careers, and schools must prepare students for the jobs of tomorrow. You can't work in this universe anymore. Very few jobs do not have to have some technological proficiency. And technology is being used in our classroom to collaborate, create content, and solve problems, which are all important skills in today's workforce. Being able to collaborate, being able to create things, and solve problems. Students should be able to produce and publish documents, interact and collaborate, communicate using web tools, and evaluate information presented in different media formats. And all these items can be done by using technology. Does that mean you're going to use technology all the time? Well, if you have access to it and you're comfortable with it, great. But if not, it should be integrated throughout your teaching. And technology in English language arts, you're going to use technology and digital media strategically and capably, like I said earlier. And students are going to employ technology thoughtfully to enhance their writing, their speaking, their listening, and their language use. They'll tailor their searches online to acquire information efficiently, and they'll integrate what they use in technology when they learn offline. They're familiar with the strengths and limitations of various technological tools and mediums and can select these best suited for their communication goals. So we're not just saying put a kid on a computer and tell them to go. We need to teach them how to use the computer and the tools and the information, how to understand which is the best tool for the project they're learning, how to look at a website and know, is this information accurate and what I need for my information. Please read this article, click on the link, exactly what does the Common Core say about technology. It'll give you some baseline opinions about technology in the Common Core. Your assignment for Session 1 is to write a reflection paper about understanding of Common Core and technology. It is your opinion. There are no right or wrong answers in this. So I want you to reflect on how you feel about the integration of technology. It should be a paper of about 1 page long. And please make sure you include what you see as the challenges you will face, how you think it will affect the way you teach, and how students learn, and what you feel will be the possible benefits. In Edmodo, you can type your response directly into the turn-in page, or you can type it up in Word and attach it. Please make sure you've watched the video about how to turn in assignments and post assignments in Edmodo so you can understand how to do this.